Welcome. Jagannath Temple in Puri, Odisha, located in the eastern coast of India and is about 60 kilometers from its capital city, Bhubaneswar. It is one of four chardhams in India dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Here, Lord Jagannath is worshipped along with his brother Balarama and sister Subhadra. This temple is also called as Purushottama Kshetra, Sri Kshetra, Neelachalam Kshetra, and Neeladri Kshetra. This temple was built in 12th century and has four entrances for four directions. The main entrance is in the eastern part of the temple. It is called as Lion's Gate, Simhadwara, where a carving of crouching lion is fitted on each side of the door. There is also a sun pillar, Arunastamba, situated in front of the main entrance. On the western part of the temple is the Tiger's Gate, Vyaghradwara, where figures of tiger made of mortar is located on each side of the door. The Elephant Gate, Hastidwara, is in the northern part of the temple. And lastly, on the southern part of the temple is the horse gate, Aswadwara, where a galloping stallion with figures of Lord Jagannatha and Balarama on the back have been installed. History of the temple. There was a king named Indradyumna who ruled Ujjaini. He was an ardent Vishnu devotee and had a strong desire to see the Lord himself. One fine day, he came to know that Lord Vishnu is being worshipped in his truest form as Neel Madhav by the tribal people in Orissa. The king immediately ordered his priest and his loyal minister Vidyapati in search of Lord Neel Madhav. After a long and tiring search, Vidyapati discovered that a tribal group head named Vishwabasu is secretly guarding and worshipping Lord Neel Madhav. He begged the chief of tribes to have one look of Neel Madhav for his beloved king Indradyumna. The tribal chief refused at once, but Vidyapati never gave up and constantly requesting the tribal chief to show Neel Madhav. He also stayed in the village forest to convince the tribal chief. In his stay, he fell in love with the chief's daughter and married her. Now that he has become a part of his family, Vidyapati convinced his wife, the chief's daughter, to show Lord Neel Madhav. Unable to neglect his daughter's continuous request, the chief agreed upon to show Lord Neel Madhav to Vidyapati, but on condition that he will blindfold Vidyapati throughout the way to the Lord's chamber. Here, the legend states how the tribal group head Vidyapati happened to possess Lord Neel Madhav. It is said that Lord Krishna, who ruled Dwaraka in the third Dwapara Yuga, was shot by an arrow by a hunter named Jara. Jara, the hunter, mistook Lord Krishna's food for the ears of a deer. That very arrow instantly killed Lord Krishna. With this uncontrollable guilt and grief, he cremated Lord Krishna. Everything burnt but for the heart. It looked like a blue stone and shined brightly. Now a divine voice ordered to tie the heart to a log and throw it in the ocean. The log kept floating in the ocean for ages, and on the right time it reached the shores of Puri. Now the hunter Jara, who shot arrow at Krishna, reborn as Vishwabasu in Shabara tribal in Orissa. While wandering in the forest, Vishwabasu found the blue stone and started worshipping as Lord Vishnu in his truest form in a cave in Neelachal mountain. Coming back here, Vidyapati hatched a plan to find the location of Neel Madhav. As he was taken blindfolded, he got a bag of mustard seeds and was dropping all the way to the Lord's chamber so that he can track the path later and inform the king. After reaching the place of Neel Madhav, Vidyapati was astounded and enchanted to see the most breathtaking image of Lord Vishnu, which was kept in a cave. Vidyapati immediately took a journey to Ujjaini to inform King Indradyumna about his secret venture to see Lord Neel Madhav. Waiting for this great news, King Indradyumna at once set a journey to Orissa to see Lord Neel Madhav. By the time the king reached Neelachal caves, by the track of germinated mustard seeds, tribal head Vishwabasu has shifted Neel Madhav to another secret location. Heartbroken King Indradyumna started doing fast and penance to meet Lord Vishnu himself. During this time, he happened to get a dream where he was instructed to go to the shores of Puri and wait for a radiant log of wood to appear in the water. At the right time, the king found the radiant log of wood floating in the shores of Puri. Immediately, he wants to bring the log of wood to his palace. But the challenge is that neither the king or his priest or soldiers or the village people could lift the log. So the king brought the tribal people as well to lift the log. To everyone's surprise, the log was easily lifted and carried to the king's palace. From the above incident, Lord Vishnu wants to show that every human, irrespective of their origin, is equally important to him. Even today, the priest, tribal, village people gather and together serve inside Lord Jagannath temple. After the radiant log of wood was brought to the palace, all fine artisans around the world were called to carve the deity Lord Vishnu. But the radiant log of wood was so hard that none of the tools would penetrate and every artisans were failed to do the job. Disheartened King Indradyumna again started doing penance in order to overcome the situation. Pleased with king's devotion, Lord Vishnu himself appeared as Vishwakarma, as an old carpenter, and offered to help on a condition that he should not be disturbed for 21 days. The old carpenter started working in a completely closed chamber without water or food. This was going on for 14 days. But on 15th day, there was absolute silence without the sound of carving. At the end of 15th day, the queen got tensed and scared that the old carpenter might have fainted due to the lack of water, food, and fresh air. So she persuaded the king to open the closed chamber in spite of the condition. As the king agreed and opened the door, everyone was shocked to see the carpenter's disappearance and also three incomplete idols without limbs and legs that looked similar to the tribal totems. Devastated king was unable to accept this and started crying for his impatience. But an eternal voice ordered the king to place these three incomplete idols inside the temple he built in Puri for Lord Vishnu. These three totem-like idols were worshipped as Lord Jagannatha, a form of Krishna, and Lord Balarama, his brother, and sister Subhadra. As these idols were made of wood, it is a custom till date that every 12 years it must be newly replaced. Festivities in Puri Jagannath temple. Every year in the month of June, all three deities, Lord Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra, were brought outside from the temple for an important ritual called Snana Yatra, which is bathing ceremony. During this time, all three deities will be bathed in 108 pitchers of water filled with herbals and holy substances. After this long bathing ceremony, all three deities will be taken into Anasara Ghara, a secret chamber to place the deities away from public eyes. Here, the deities will be kept for 14 days, as it is believed that the deities has fallen ill after this long bathing ceremony. So the temple will be closed during this 14 days of Anasara ritual and will be reopened during Rath Yatra, which is on 15th day. Here, the interesting part is that during these 14 days of ill period, the ailing deities were offered only herbal water and fruits to recover from the fever. And during these 14 days, the traditional Pattachara painting of these three deities are worshipped. Rath Yatra, the main attraction of Jagannath temple is the annual Rath Yatra, which will be taking place on 15th day after 14 days of Anasara ritual. On this chariot festival, all three deities were brought outside and decked up in a beautifully decorated chariot constructed specially for the ceremony. People from all around the world gather for this legendary chariot festival, which will be drawn from Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple, which is 3 kilometers away. Another interesting feature of this temple is the temple kitchen called Rosaghara. It is the second largest temple kitchen in the world, and it is believed that food prepared here is directly supervised by Goddess Lakshmi. There will be 56 varieties of vegetarian food without onion and garlic and offered 6 times in a day to all deities.